Hey friends, here we are again doing our online Bible study and joining some Wednesday nights together. Here we are watching some videos and following along with God's Word and continuing through our series of Jesus. And so if you've been paying attention at all this week, you've been noticing that on social media there's been all kinds of fun stuff going on. People are doing some crazy things, some fun challenges, but also what we've seen in the beginning of the week, the end of last week, was some celebrities that were participating together and singing some songs. And so it was all right. Celebrities singing songs together. They sang a Beatles song, Imagine, which is a cool song. There may be some cool different kind of trends that you've seen on social media. And so if you're following along on the YouVersion app, love for you to go through the poll there and just let us know what's one of your favorite social media trends that have been taking place, social media challenges and stuff. There's been some really cool ones out there. And so let us know what your favorite is. But talking about the Beatles, so the Beatles, they have another song. It's called Turn, Turn, Turn. So this song is taken from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3. So I'm going to read a few verses from Ecclesiastes, which comes from the song as well. So it says this: there is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens or under the sun. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. And so if we go back to verse 4 there, it says this: there's a time to weep and a time to laugh. And so today our session is about Jesus and humor, which is something we don't talk about a whole lot when it comes to the Bible and Jesus. And a lot of times when we think about Jesus and who he is, he's so serious and somber and just so focused on his purpose and what he came to do. But the truth is, I believe, according to Ecclesiastes chapter 3, that God says there's a time for all of these things. And so if there's a time for all these things, then there surely was a time for Jesus to be engaged in laughter. And so we're going to talk a little bit about humor and what that means for us, finding humor in the Bible. And so if Jesus was fully God and fully human, which is known as the hypostatic union, that'd be something cool we could put on a t-shirt and wear around. But if he were to live these truth claims out by God, then he surely did live some form of humor, which would be really fun to see if we could find that in the Bible. So we don't often think of Jesus as someone who was funny or telling jokes, but I'm sure there were points in his life where he did make points by using humor. We're going to look at some of those tonight. We're going to look at some of those things. So I think God is a God of humor as well as all the other things that we know God to be. And so I don't think we have to go very far to see that God is a God of humor, because if you look at the platypus, I mean, pretty crazy animal there. And if you're a fan of Phineas and Ferb, platypuses are pretty extraordinary animals. So if Jesus was someone who told jokes or used humor, what do you think Jesus' favorite form of humor might be? Might it be yo mama jokes, or maybe some knock-knock jokes, which are pretty fun? One-liners, I love one-liners, or puns. My wife is a big fan of puns and using words for things that they're not intended for. And maybe a slapstick comedy, right? Lots of people love slapstick comedy where people get hit and fall down if you ever watch pinata videos, those are always end up as slapstick comedy. So which one do you think was Jesus's favorite form of humor? So tonight we're going to take a look at some places where Jesus lived out humor, some places in the Bible where he was using humor to make a serious point for the people that he was around. And so what I want you to do is watch this next video, some funny things that go on, and maybe how humor was used to make a true point.